Okay? Now let's go to problem 7. Straight problem 7. We have your downstream and upstream sales. So again, BB acquired 70% of BW on June 30, 2024. Based on BW's acquisition date fair value, an intangible of 300,000 was recognized and is being amortized at the rate of 10,000 per year. The 20x5 financial statements are as follows. So we have now the columns BB and BW. BB sold BW inventory costing 72,000 during the last 6 months of 20x4 for 120,000. So BB is selling to BW, meaning it's a downstream sale. At year-end, 30% remain. BB sells BW inventory costing 200,000 during 20x5 for 250,000. At year-end, 20% is left. With these facts, determine the consolidated balances for the accounts A up to letter I. Number 2, assuming that all intercompany transfers were made from BW to BB, determine the consolidated balances. So in other words, that would mean for uh, upstream, which is the reverse of downstream. Okay, let's now go to requirement number 1. We compute for the consolidated balances for sales. So we have now the computation of selected consolidation balances as affected by downstream inventory transfers. Unrealized gross profit on December 31, 20x4, we have a downstream transfer. The intercompany gross profit of 120,000. That's the intercompany transfer. And we have now 72,000. That's the portion realized. So the difference is 48,000. That's the inventory remaining at year end. And we multiply that to 48,000. The unrealized intercompany gross profit by December 31, 20x4 is 14,400. Now, the unrealized gross profit on December 31, 20x5, again a downstream transfer, is equal to the intercompany gross profit equal to 250,000 and we deduct 200,000. That's the realized amount. So the unrealized portion of 50,000, we multiply that by 20%. So the unrealized intercompany gross profit by December 31, 20x5 is equal to 100,000. Okay, now take note that we have your recording of the unrealized profit. We are asked to determine the consolidated balances for the accounts. So we have now the consolidated totals, sales, 1,150,000, which is taken by adding the two amounts, 1,150,000 and eliminate 250,000. So 1,400,000, that's the sum of 800,000 and 600,000 given in the book on page 430. We deduct your 250,000. We deduct the 250,000. That is your intercompany sales given at 250,000. So in other words, we have your sales to be considered of 1 million 150,000. Now we have to eliminate 250,000 because that is the sales of inventory affected by the downstream sale pertaining to the ending inventory. With regards to the beginning inventory, now this inventory left at the beginning of the period is already part of cost of sales. Now, the second requirement, determine cost of goods sold. Now, the cost of goods sold is at book value. Here, we have your cost of goods sold, 535,000 in the books of BB. Okay? BB, not Benson. Book value. And in the book of BW, it's 400,000. BW, not Broadway. And we have to eliminate intercompany transfers in the amount of 250,000. Now, we are talking this time of cost of goods sold. The realized gross profit deferred in 20x4 is 14,400. And then, deferral of 20x5, unrealized gross profit. So we have the difference of 680,600. So you are now adding 535,000 and 400. So you get 935,000 where you have to deduct 250,000. So you have the difference of 685,000. 685,000 you add 10,000. That gives you 695,000 and deduct 14,400. So you have the difference of 680,600 pertaining to the realized refers to the ending inventory and the unrealized the realized refers to the beginning inventory and the unrealized to the ending inventory. So we now get the amount of 680,600. Okay, now the amount of 72,000. BB sold BW inventory costing 72,000 during the last 6 months of 20x4. So the amount of 72,000 as we multiply it by 20%. Okay, now we have the amount of second requirement, cost of goods sold, 680,600. Next requirement is operating expenses. The amount of operating expenses given is here, we have 100,000. We have to add the two book values and include intangible amortization for current year. So dividend income is 0, intercompany transfer eliminated. The non-controlling interest in consolidated income, the impact of transfers is not included because they were downstream. Now, for Broadway, reported net income for 20x5, we have now BW, the reported net income for 20x5 in the amount of, okay, we have 100,000. The intangible amortization of 10,000 here given. So we have the difference of 90,000. That's the adjusted net income. From the adjusted net income, we multiply it by the ownership interest of 30%. At year-end, 30% remained. BB sells BW inventory costing 200,000 during 20x5 for 250,000. So we now get the non-controlling interest in Broadway earnings of 27,000. Okay, that's the non-controlling interest. Why? Because the ownership of BB is only at 70%. So meaning 100% minus the ownership of BB, that's equal to 70%. We have now the ownership of the non-controlling interest equal to 30%. Equal to 30%. Okay, now we go to another requirement here is letter D. How much is the inventory, no? Or we have an alternative computation. Consolidated net income for 20x5. P company's net income from own or separate operations. 800 minus 535. That gives us 265. And then we have to deduct the amount of expense of 100,000. So that gives us 165,000. 165. Sales of 800 minus cost of goods sold of 535. That gives us 265 minus the operating expenses of 100. We only have 165. So 165,000, that's the net income of B company from own operations. Then we add the realized profit in the beginning inventory of S company. So the realized profit in the beginning inventory of S company, that's equal to 14,400. Okay? So BB sold BW inventory costing 72,000. You have now your 14,400. And we have the unrealized profit in ending inventory of S company from downstream sales. Downstream because BB is the one selling to BW. So we have the amount of 10,000. So we now get the total of 179,000 minus 10. P companies realized net income from separate operations 169,400. Whereas S company, its net income is equal to 100,000. Sales of 600,000 minus cost of goods sold of 400,000. Gross profit is 100,000 minus, no, gross profit of 200,000 minus operating expenses of 100,000. Net income of BW is for 100,000. BW is S, the subsidiary. So we have now 100,000. We have realized profit in beginning inventory of B company. Upstream sale, we do not include because we only include if it's a downstream sale. Then we deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company. Again, we do not consider because it's an upstream sale. We only consider if it's a downstream. So the realized net income from separate operations of S company is 100,000. the total of 269,400, we deduct amortization of allocated excess. Now, stated is being amortized at the rate of 10,000 per year. So we now get the consolidated net income for 20x5 difference of 259,400. Then we deduct the non-controlling interest in net income of 27,000, the one computed above. So the controlling interest in consolidated net income or profit attributable to equity holder parent in 20x5 is 232,400. That's after deducting the non-controlling interest. So the non-controlling interest in net income is computed at 100,000 minus 10,000, the amortization of the allocated excess. So we still have 90,000 times 30%. So you get 27,000 for the non-controlling interest. Then another requirement here is the inventory. How much is the inventory? So 988,000. If you have the inventory of the two companies, adding 298,000 and 700,000, you get 998,000. 998,000. 298 plus 700,000. So that's equal to 998,000. But we have to deduct the unrealized gross profit of 10,000. So we get 988,000. That's for the inventory. The non-controlling interest in consolidated net income. The non-controlling interest in subsidiary is given to be 385,000. Okay, that's the non-controlling interest of December 31 X5 is 385,500 and 30% of the beginning balance. If you have the book value from the beginning balance of 950,000 of the beginning balance, 30% of that belongs to the non-controlling interest. And 30% of 295,000 is equal to 88,500. So 88,500, and then we have the non-controlling interest in the earnings of 27,000, and we have the dividends given at 30%. So the dividends given is stated to be 50,000. That's the dividends given by BW. So we have the amount of 15,000. So 285,000, we multiply 285,000. We add to 88,500. And then we are going to add the non-controlling interest in the earnings and deduct dividends. So the non-controlling interest by December 31, 20x5 is 385,500. Now, the amount as required in number 2, assuming that all intercompany transfers were made from BW to BB. We now consider it as upstream sales. So the computation of selected consolidation balances affected by upstream inventory. We now assume that instead of BB selling merchandise to BW, it's BW selling. It's the reverse. So we have the unrealized gross profit, assuming an upstream sale, intercompany gross profit of 120,000 minus 72,000. So it involves a difference of 48,000. 48,000 multiplied by 30%. So we have the result of 14,400. That's the unrealized intercompany gross profit. Unrealized because of the ending inventory. Then the unrealized gross profit from the upstream transfer, intercompany gross profit amounting to 50,000. We take the same assumption, only that this time it is BW selling to BB. In other words, the reverse. So we now get the inventory remaining at year end multiplied by 20%. So we now have the unrealized intercompany gross profit equal to 10,000 because of the ending inventory. So for the consolidated totals in requirement number 2, sales, again 1,150,000. That's the same with the requirement number 1. So we have 1,400,000 minus 250,000. Then cost of goods sold. We now get the cost of goods sold at book value as computed of 535,000. So BB, and then we have BW of 400,000. We deduct the intercompany transfers of 250,000. Then we deduct realized gross profit deferred of 14,400. Then we have the deferral of 20x5 unrealized gross profit of 10,000. So we have the consolidated cost of goods sold of 680,600. Then we have now the operating expenses, 210,000. We add the two book values and include intangible amortization for the current year. So in other words, we have the amount of intangible amortization to be added. And 200,000 plus 10,000. Intangible amortization will be an expense. For dividend income, 0. Intercompany transfers are already eliminated in consolidation. For non-controlling interest in consolidated income, impact of transfer is included because they were upstream. Upstream sales. So we have now your Broadway or BW net income reported in 20x54, 100,000 intangible amortization. We did that. And then we are going to add realized profit on the beginning inventory, deduct unrealized profit on the ending inventory. And we multiply this by 30%. That's the non-controlling interest because the ownership of BB is only at 70%. Now we go to the consolidated net income. P company is 165,000. Then 4 is company for 104,400 after adding 100,000 and 410,000. So we have a total of 269,400 and we deduct the amortization of allocated excess. So we have now the non-controlling interest net income of 28,320. The controlling interest is 231,080. That's your controlling interest in consolidated net income. The non-controlling interest here is 28,320 as computed above. The inventory again is to be computed at 988,000 because we have 998, we deduct 10,000. And the non-controlling interest in subsidiary is 382,500. Okay, so we have now the solutions to problem 6 and 7. Now, for the rest of the time, I will be discussing the solutions to the multiple choice problems. All right, the multiple choice problems. I will take up only problems 1 to 42 and take up the theory part. Okay, let's start with number 1 to 8, involving upstream sales. Now here, you will be able to have your additional knowledge about upstream sales. But remember that upstream sales, you have the sales from the seller is the subsidiary. The buyer is the parent. Use the following information for questions 1 to 8 or upstream sales. Following are several figures reported for PT and DSS as of December 31, 20X5. So we have now the inventory of 400,000 and 200,000. Sales, 800,000 and 600,000. Investment income not given, cost of goods sold 400 and 300, operating expenses 180 and 250. Now take note, the parent is PT and the subsidiary is SS. PT acquired 70% of SS in January 20X4. In allocating the newly acquired subsidiaries fair value at the acquisition date, PT noted that SS had developed a customer list worth 65,000 and recorded on its accounting records and had a 5-year remaining life. Any remaining excess fair value over SS book value was attributed to goodwill. During 20X5, SS sales inventory costing 120,000 to PT for 160,000. Of this amount, 20% remains unsold in PT's warehouse at year-end. Now, the important facts in the problem that we have to consider, aside from the given balances at December 31, 20X5, we have to consider that PT's ownership is only up to 70%. And that is as had developed a customer list worth 65,000 unrecorded. Any remaining excess fair value over its book value is to be considered as goodwill. During 20X5, SS sales inventory costing 120,000 to PT for 160,000. So really, it's an upstream sale, and 20% remains. For PT's consolidated reports, determine the following amounts to be reported for the current year. So we have now inventory, number 2, sales, 3, cost of goods sold, 4, gross profit, 5, operating expenses, 6, controlling interest, 7, non-controlling interest, and 8, consolidated net income. Okay, so we have now to determine the following amounts to be reported for the current year for PT's consolidated reports. So we now have to consider PT is the parent. So determine the consolidated balances, including inventory transfers and an outside ownership. We have the customer list amortization. The list was not recorded in the books, and take note that we have the unrecorded list amounting to 65,000. As stated, noted that is developed the customer list worth 65,000 unrecorded in its accounting records and has a remaining life of 5 years. So if we divide the customer list amortization equal to 65,000 divided by 5 years, so you get 13,000 per year. Okay, 13,000 per year. The intercompany gross profit. Okay, as stated, SS sales inventory costing 120,000 for 160,000. So take note that it is an upstream sales because SS is the one selling to PT. So 160,000, the sales price minus 120,000, that's the cost. So the intercompany gross profit is 40,000. And 20% remains at the end of the year. So we multiply 20% to 40,000. The unrealized intercompany gross profit is 8,000. Okay, for the consolidated totals that we have to determine, the inventory now, we are going to add the two amounts. We have the two amounts of 400,000 and 200,000, but we have to deduct the unrealized gross profit. So we have 600,000 minus 8,000. The difference is 592,000. 592,000. Okay, so that's the answer to number 1, letter C. Number 2, what's the amount of sales? If we are going to add sales, 1,400,000, but we have to subtract the intercompany transfer. So we have now 1,400,000 minus 160,000, the intercompany sales. The difference is 1,240,000. 1,240,000. Again, we have this as letter C. Okay, for the amount of sales. Then, number 3, how much is the cost of goods sold? Cost of goods sold is, if we add 400,000 and 300,000, that's total of 700,000. 700,000. And then we have the intercompany transfer. The intercompany transfer of 120,000. So total 400,000 and 300,000, 700,000 minus 120,000. That gives us 580,000. We added two book values. Okay. We deduct the cost of 120 and subtract the intercompany transfer and add the ending unrealized gross profit and add the ending unrealized gross profit. So how much would it be? The cost of goods sold of 548,000. 548,000. Then for the operating expenses, we have the amount of operating expenses of 180,000 and 250,000. That's the operating expenses of 430,000, and we add the amortization of the customer list of 13,000, giving 443,000. So I'll repeat with operating expenses. That's number 5. Number 5, we add for operating expenses 180,000 plus 250,000 is 430,000, and we add the amortization of the customer list. So the total of 443,000. That's your operating expenses. So number 5 is letter D. Number 5. How about the gross profit? The gross profit is sales in number 2 of 1,240,000, and then we deduct the cost of goods sold of 548,000. The difference is 692,000. That's the gross profit in number 4. So the answer is letter C. I'll repeat the answers to number 1C, number 2C, number 3C, number 4C, number 5, dog. Okay. Number 6, compute for the controlling interest in consolidated net income. The controlling interest in consolidated net income is computed as gross profit 692,000. Then we are going to deduct operating expenses of 443. So the difference of 249,000. And then we add the non-controlling interest in consolidated net income in the amount of 8,700. So that gives us the total of, or deduct, I'll repeat, gross profit 692,000, operating expenses 443,000. The difference is 249,000, and deduct 8,700. 8,700. That is your realized profit with sales with third parties. So 8,700. The total is your 240,300. So again, 249,000, the consolidated net income. Then we deduct non-consolidated income, for the amount of 8,700. That's the non-controlling interest. That's the non-controlling interest equal to 8,700. 8,700. Okay, so we have now for CICNI, that's 240,300. Controlling interest in consolidated net income. Controlling interest in consolidated net income equal to 8,700. So we now get the result of 240,300, letter C. Number 7, non-controlling interest in the consolidated net income. And number 6 is controlling interest in consolidated net income. Number 7 is non-controlling interest in the consolidated net income. So if the controlling interest is for 240,300, the non-controlling interest is the amount of 8,700. 8,700 may be computed as we have S companies reported net income. So net income from own operations of 50,000. Of 50,000. How did we get 50,000? For S company, its sales is 600,000, and then we deduct cost of goods sold of 300,000. The difference is gross profit of 300,000, and we deduct operating expenses of 250,000. So S company's net income from its own operations is 50,000. 50,000. Okay? Then we have to deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company due to upstream sales. Unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company due to upstream sales in the amount of 8,000. The difference is S company realized net income from separate operations of 42,000. Of 42,000. Then we have the amortization of allocated excess in the amount of 13,000 in connection with customer list. So the difference is 29,000. We multiply 29,000 by 30%. That's the non-controlling interest. So the non-controlling interest in net income is 8,700 using the partial goodwill approach. Okay? So the non-controlling interest in net income still by using the full goodwill approach is 8,700. 30%. Okay, so we have now the additional notes here. Controlling interest in subsidiaries net income is 30% of the reported income after subtracting 13,000 excess, and we defer 8,000, the ending unrealized gross profit. Okay, so we have now for the answer to number 7. It's 8,700. 8,700. That's letter B as in boy. The non-controlling interest in the consolidated net income. The consolidated net income is 249,000. The consolidated net income is 249,000. If you want to determine 249,000 using another process, the net income of P company from its separate operations is equal to 220,000. The net income of P company from its own separate operations is 220,000. 220,000 is a difference between 800,000 and 400,000. You get 400,000 minus 180,000. So it's 220,000. Then we are going to add to 220,000, 42,000. 42,000 is the net income of S company from own operations. The net income of S company from own operations for 42,000. So the total is 262,000. 262,000. From 262,000 being the total income of P&S, we are going to deduct the non-controlling interest in net income. The non-controlling interest in net income equal to 13,000. Non-controlling interest in net income equal to 8,700. And we also deduct amortization of allocated excess. So deduct 8,700 and 13,000. The total is 21,700. So the difference is 240,300. 240,300. That is the controlling interest in consolidated net income or profit attributable to equity holders of parent. Then we add the non-controlling interest in net income, 240,300, add 8,700. The consolidated net income for 20x5. The consolidated net income for 20x5 is 249,000. Actually, 249,000 is the sum of 240,300 and 8,700. So you get total of 249,000. Okay, so these are the answers that we have for number 1. The answer is C. Number 2 is C. 3 is still C. Number 4, C. Number 5, dog. Number 6, C. 7, boy, 8,700. 8 is C. 8 is C. What's the question in number 8? Consolidated net income. Number 6 is controlling interest in consolidated net income. Controlling interest in consolidated net income amo na ang 240,300. Number 7 is non-controlling interest, 8,700. And number 8, the consolidated net income of the two. So the consolidated net income as computed is 249,000. So that's letter D, not C. That's letter D. Number 8 is letter D. 249,000. The consolidated net income that's computed is 249,000. Okay, now we go to numbers 9, 10, and 11. We have 3 questions. Now, what are the answers? Use the following information for questions 9 to 11, downstream and upstream sales. Pine Company owns an 80% interest in Salad Company and a 90% interest in Tuna Company. So meaning there are 2 subsidiaries. During 20X3 and 20X4, intercompany sales of merchandise were made by all 3 companies. Total sales amounted to 2.4 million in 20X3 and 2.7 million in 20X4. The companies sold their merchandise at the following percentages above cost. Pine, 15%. Remember, Pine is the parent. Salad, 20%. Tuna, 25%. The amount of merchandise remaining in the 20X4 beginning and ending inventories of the companies from these intercompany sales is shown below. Merchandise remaining in beginning inventory sold by Pine to Salad and to Tuna, 414,000. Sold by, so this one is downstream sales. Sold by Pine, by Salad to Pine and to Tuna. One is upstream, sold by Salad to Pine, and the other one is sold to another subsidiary. And the same with Tuna, selling to Pine and Salad. Merchandise remaining in ending inventory, again sold by Pine to Salad and Tuna, sold by Salad to Pine and Tuna, and sold by Tuna to Pine and Salad. Reported net incomes from independent operations, including sales to affiliates of Pine, Salad, and Tuna, were. Okay, so in other words, the sales of Pine include sales to Salad and Tuna. The same with Salad and Tuna. 9, calculate the amount of non-controlling interest to be deducted from consolidated income in the consolidated income statement. 10, calculate the controlling interest consolidated net income for 20X4. And 11, calculate the consolidated net income for 20X4. So for number 9, actually the answer to number 9 is, the question is asking for the amount of non-controlling interest to be deducted from consolidated net income. So how much is the non-controlling interest to be deducted from net income? Okay, the amount of non-controlling interest to be deducted from consolidated income in the consolidated income statement for 20X4. 4. Okay, so we now have the consolidated net income computations for 20x4. Now begin with P company's net income from own operations given is 3.6 million. Then we add realized profit in beginning inventory of S company as downstream sales. So for P company selling to S company, the beginning inventory of S company for downstream sales sold by Pine to Salad, 180,000. Sold by Pine to Salad for 180,000. And sold by Pine, I mean to Salad and Tuna. And for a total of 414. Realized profit in beginning inventory of S company, and the other one is unrealized profit in ending inventory of S company. So the beginning inventory of S company as here. Merchandise meaning in beginning inventory of S company equals 225,000 purchased from Pine and 135,000 purchased from Tuna. And we have the unrealized profit in ending inventory of S company for the ending inventory. For the ending inventory of S company, bought from Pine in the amount of 207,000 and bought from Tuna in the amount of 150,000. Now we are going to compute for these figures in here after the amounts will be given. Okay, so we begin from in computing the consolidated net income for 20x4. We begin with P company's net income from own operations of 3.6 million. Then we add realized profit in beginning inventory of S company, 54,000. Realized profit in beginning inventory of S company, 54,000. Deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of S company, 45,000. Okay? So 45,000. So the difference, P companies realized net income from separate operations, 3,609,000. 3,609,000. Then S company's net income from own operations. S company's net income from own operations in the amount of 1,500,000 and 2,400,000 from Tuna. So that makes 3,900,000. We add to 3,900,000. We add realized profit in beginning inventory. Realized profit in beginning inventory of P company. Upstream sales. Salad, 66,000. Add realized profit in beginning inventory of P. Upstream sales. Tuna, 63,000. And deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company, upstream sales, Salad, deduct 57,000, and unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company, upstream sales, Tuna, deduct 69,000. So I'll repeat, From P companies realized net income from separate operations of 3,609,000. We are going to reflect the following additions and deductions. S and T's companies net income from own operations, 1.5 million and 2.4 million, total of 3.9 million. Then we are going to add to 3.9 million, we add realized profit in beginning inventory of P company, upstream sales from salad, 66,000. Add. Then we add realized profit in beginning inventory of P company, upstream sales, tuna, 63,000. So add 66,000 and 63,000. Unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company, upstream sales from salad, deduct with 7,000. And unrealized profit in ending inventory of B company, upstream sales, tuna, deduct 69,000. So 3.9 million, add 66,000, add 63,000, deduct 57,000, deduct 69,000. The net amount is 3,903,000. 3,903,000. Add to 3,609,000. The total is 7,512,000. 7,512,000. Then we are going to, there is no amortization of allocated excess. So the consolidated net income, the consolidated net income is 7,512,000. The consolidated net income for 20x4 is 7,512,000. 7,512,000. Then we deduct the non-controlling interest in net income. We deduct the non-controlling interest in net income. Okay, salad, 301,800. 301,800. Then deduct also non-controlling interest in net income of tuna, 239,400. 239,400. The sum of the non-controlling interest is 541,200. 541,200. That's the sum of 301,800 and 239,400. So 541,200 we deduct from 7,512,000. So the difference is 6,970,800. 6,970,800. 6,970,800. That's the controlling interest in the consolidated net income or the consolidated net income. Controlling interest in consolidated net income or profit attributable to equity holders of parent in 20x4. Okay, so how do we answer now our numbers 9 and 10? Number 9, the question is the amount of non-controlling interest to be deducted from consolidated income in the consolidated income statement. So the total amount of the non-controlling interest for both salad and tuna is 541,200. 541,200. That's the total amount of the non-controlling interest. In requirement number 10, calculate the controlling interest in consolidated net income. The controlling interest in consolidated net income attributable to equity holders of parent is letter A, 6,970,800. And number 11, the consolidated net income is 7,512,000. So we have the answer of letter C. Okay, now let's go through the supporting computations for non-controlling interest in net income for 20x4. We have now as company's net income of subsidiary company from its own operations. The reported net income of S is 1,500,000. 1,500,000. Then we add realized profit in beginning inventory of P company. We add realized profit in beginning inventory of P company, 66,000. 66,000. Deduct the unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company. Deduct P7,000. So I'll repeat. Net income of S company from own operations, 1.5 million. We add 66,000. The realized profit in beginning inventory of P. And we deduct 7,000. The unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company from an upstream sale. So the difference is 1,509,000. 1,509,000. That is the realized net income of S company. The realized net income of S company from separate operations. The realized net income of S company from separate operations. And then we multiply this by the non-controlling interest of 20%. 20%. Because the ownership of Pine is 80. So the non-controlling interest is 20%. Multiply 1,509,000 by 20%. The non-controlling interest in the net income of S company is 301,800. Now we go to S is salad. We go to T or tuna. The non-controlling interest in the net income we have to compute for the non-controlling interest. We have now the income, net income of tuna company, net income of tuna company from own operations, 2,400,000. Net income of tuna company from own operations, 2,400,000. Then we add realized profit in beginning inventory. Realized profit in beginning inventory of P company. Upstream sales, 63,000. Add. And then we deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company, deduct unrealized profit in ending inventory of P company from upstream sales, deduct 69,000. So 2,400,000 add 63,000, deduct 69,000. You have the difference of 2,394,000. That's the realized net income from separate operations of tuna. The realized net income from separate operations of tuna. Then we multiply by the non-controlling interest. That's 10%. 10% because the ownership of Pine with Tuna is only 90%. So meaning there is a non-controlling interest equal to 10%. So the non-controlling interest is 239,400. If we add controlling interest with salad, non-controlling interest is 301,800. Non-controlling interest with tuna is 239,400. That's why the total of the non-controlling interest is 541,200. That's letter C. 9 letter C, 10 letter A, 10 letter C. Now further, let's try to compute for the realized profit in beginning inventory. How do we compute for the realized profit in beginning inventory? In beginning inventory, we have the sale from parent to subsidiary. In other words, we have a downstream sale. So realized profit in beginning inventory, as we have added it to P company's net income. So downstream sales, sales from P to subsidiaries, 414,000. 414,000. You add 225 and 189. So 414,000 times 15 over 115. 414,000 times 15 over 115. So you get 54,000. 414 times 15 over 115, you get 54,000. Upstream sales, sales from subsidiary salad to parent. Salad, 396,000. 396,000 times 20 over 120. Since salad, it's selling at 20% above cost. And this is an upstream sales. So 396,000 times 20 over 120. That's how we get 66,000. And another upstream sale, sale from tuna to parent. Tuna, 315,000 times 200 times 25 over 125. So upstream sales, sales from subsidiary to parent and to another subsidiary. So we have now tuna, 315,000 times 25 over 125. So I'll repeat, these are the realized profits in beginning inventory. Downstream sales from parent to subsidiary, 414,000 times 15 over 115. So you get 54,000. Upstream sales, sales from subsidiary salad to parent and to tuna for 396,000 times 20 over 120. So you get 66,000. And another upstream sales from subsidiary tuna to parent and to salad. So 315,000 times 25 over 125. So that's how we get 54,000, 66,000, and 63,000, which are all additions. Then we go to the unrealized profit in ending inventory. These are deductions. Unrealized profit in ending inventory. Downstream sales from parent to subsidiary. Okay, 345,000 times 15 over 115. 345,000 times 15 over 115. 345,000 times 15 over 115. Upstream sales from subsidiary salad to parent. Sales from subsidiary salad to parent. Salad, 342,000 times 20 over 120 or 57,000. 57,000. And upstream sales from subsidiary tuna to parent. 345,000 times 25 over 125 times 25 over 125. So you get 69,000. These are all deductions. These are all deductions. Okay? So now you already have the computations of how these figures were arrived at. So for the final answers, number 9 is C, number 10 A, number 11 C. Next, we go to problems 12 and 13. 12 and 13. So for 12 and 13, we now have the corporation acquired a 70% interest in Weasel Corporation on January 1, 20X5, when Weasel's book values were equal to their fair values. During 20X5, DAC sold merchandise that cost 75,000 to Weasel for 110,000. On December 31, 20X5, 3/4 of the merchandise acquired from DAC remained in Weasel's inventory. Separate incomes, investment income not recorded of DAC and Weasel are as follows. So we have now sales, cost of goods sold, operating expenses, separate incomes. The consolidated income statement for DAC Corporation and subsidiary for the year ended December 31, 20X5 will show consolidated cost of sales of, and in number 13, assuming dividends paid by Weasel amounted to 40,000. Now we have to determine under the cost method and the equity method. Okay, we now go to number 12, computing for the consolidated cost of sales. Okay, so the answer to number 12 for the consolidated cost of sales is we have now the combined cost of sales is given at 160,000. adding 90,000 and 70,000. Combined cost of sales is 160,000. Then we are going to apply the intercompany sales revenue, deduct intercompany sales revenue in the amount of 110,000. The amount of 110,000. So deduct intercompany sales revenue of 110,000 and add unrealized profit taken out of inventory. Unrealized profit taken out of inventory, we multiply 75% times 35,000. 35,000. So you have 110,000 minus 75,000, you get 35,000, and then you multiply that by 75%, you get 26,250. So for the consolidated cost of sales, you get 76,250. For number 12, your letter answer is B as in boy. For number 13, the question is, DAX investment income for 20x5, assuming dividends paid by Weasel amounted to 40,000. So in number 13, under the cost method, we multiply 40,000 times 70%. So you get the amount of 28,000. Under the equity method, we have 115,000 times 70%. And then we deduct 26,250. Being the unrealized profit taken out of inventory. So we now get in number 13, under the equity method, we have 115,000 times 70% minus 26,250. So we now get the amount of 54,250. That's the equity in subsidiary income. Okay, so we have now numbers 12 and 13. Then we go to 14 up to 16. Okay, 14 up to 16. Ren Corporation acquired 80% ownership of Arid at a time when Wen's investment using the equity method and Arid's book values were equal. During 20x4, Ren sold goods to Arid for 200,000, making a gross profit percentage of 20%. Half of these goods remained unsold in Arid's inventory at the end of the year. Income statement information for Ren and Arid were as follows. So we have sales, cost of goods sold, operating expenses, separate income, given for Ren and Arid. The 20x4 consolidated income statement showed cost of goods sold in number 14 equal to 720,000. That's the result of adding 500,000 and 400,000. We deduct 200,000. That's your sales between affiliates. So we deduct 200,000, but we add 20,000. The profit applicable to sales. So we now get 720,000. Repeat, add 500,000 plus 400,000 minus 200,000 plus 20,000. So number 14 is letter A. Number 15, assuming the dividend declared by ARID for 20x4 amounted 60,000. We have the 20x4 consolidated income statement showed investment income of. Under the cost method, it's 60,000 dividend, and then we multiply it by 80%. While under the equity method, now what is the amount of investment income? The answer to number 15, actually we got two amounts under the cost method and under the equity method. Under the equity method, the equity in subsidiary income or the investment income is, we have now a debit of 20,000 for the downstream sale. So we debit to 20,000 for the downstream sale, and we credit 96,000 as a result of multiplying 120,000 times 80%. So debit 20,000 and credit 96,000. 96,000 is the result of multiplying 120,000 by 80%. So credit 96,000, debit 20,000. You have a credit of 76,000. So under the cost method, 48,000, and under the equity method for 76,000. So number 15 is letter D. Next, number 16. The 20x4 consolidated income statement showed non-controlling income of. So non-controlling income in a downstream situation, the non-controlling income is company's net income from own separate operations. So net income from own separate operations of S company equal to 120,000. 120,000. That's the result of deducting from 600,000, you deduct 400,000 and 80,000. So the difference is 120,000. So the net income from own separate operations of ARID is 120,000. We multiply it by 20%. The non-controlling interest, that gives 24,000. Okay, so letter D as in dog for number 16. All right, I will assign to you number 17 to 42. Will you work on it? You work on it. So by tomorrow, I'll just give you the letter answers. Though I will already give you the letter answers to the theory. Okay? So your only task will be to work on number 17 to 42. For the theory, for the true or false, you get numbers 1 to 22. And then the multiple choice ends up with number 80. Ends up with number 80. Okay, so let's have the true or false. Number 1 true, number 1 true, number 2 false, 3 false, 4 true, 5 false, 6 true, 7 false, 8 false, 9 true, 10 false, 11 true, 12 false, 13 false, 14 true, 15 true, 16 false, 17 false, 18 true, 19 true, 20 false, 21 true, 22 false. Then for 23 up to 80, letter answers, 23 boy, 24E, 25A, 26E, 27E, 28C, 29 dog, 30A, 31 boy, 32E, 33 boy, 34 dog, 35A, 36A, 37 boy, 38E, 39, 40 dog, 41 boy, 42C, 43A, 44C, 45 dog, 46C, 47 boy, 48C, 49A, 50 dog, 51A, 52C, 53C, 54 dog, 55C, 56C, 57 boy, 58C, 59 boy, 60C, 61, 62A, 63 boy, 64C, 65A, 66 boy, 67 boy, 68C, 69 dog, 70 boy, 71 boy, 72A, 73A, 74A, 75C, 76C, 77C, 78A, 79C, 80A. Okay. Now, we do not know, I do not know about tomorrow because they said it was declared as a holiday. And of course, your Wednesday, you have no class. However, if tomorrow is holiday, I will just continue on lecturing chapter 4, which is still part of module number 6. So I will still lecture on the continuation of chapter 4 and possibly begin with chapter 5 anytime. So your test, which I have already announced, I will give it on Friday. So that will be December 11. Based on our syllabus, we are going to have for our midterm only chapters, only modules 1 to 6. Modules 1 to 6. And that means only chapters 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So for tomorrow, tomorrow or Wednesday. If tomorrow is holiday, I'm not going to lecture. But I'm going to lecture in the YouTube on Wednesday for the remainder of chapter 4. Then on Thursday, I will be meeting you. On Thursday, I will be meeting you. Our test will be on Friday. Okay? But don't forget this evening, we will have an exam at 5:40. I have already announced. The test will be from 5:40 to 6. And that will only be module number 5. Okay? So God bless everyone.